How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Mullen Automotive. We ended up having a pullback inside of the market, and of course, Mullen was impacted by this. So I want to make sure you guys are prepared going into Friday. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we're going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Mullen Automotive. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $2.98, being down 1.65%. On the low, it tested $2.87, and then on the high, testing $3.45. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 255.487 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 254.758 million shares. So we did have above average volume on the day, but we've seen a slight pullback in the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 60.29. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, we're also below the 100-day, but we are above the 21-day EMA and as well as the 50-day. So what I'd want to see from Mullen, if we decide to have a pullback further going into tomorrow, I want to see support hold up at 260. That is not too much to ask whatsoever. And if it decides to consolidate, then I'd want to see us being able to hold up at least 286. But again, there is a good chance that this area could break if the market is weak, and that's part of the reasons why I said, hey, let's see if we can hold up at 260. And now, as far as for the bullish case scenario, we ended up seeing a high of $3.45. So this would be the breakout level. So whether this would happen going into next week or maybe we get a catalyst, if we get price action above $3.45, then we could see Mullen trying to make that move going to $4. So that's something you're going to want to add to your homework. But again, this key area here is right at 260, because if we break through 260, then there's a good chance we could test the 50-day, which is right at $2. And that's where we want to see some strength, because we are well aware there is a gap that needs to be filled to the downside, which is right here around $1.79. So let's see how the stock performs going into tomorrow, but most preferably, let's continue to have that price action above the 21-day EMA. Let's take a look at the short interest. So we're going to take a look at the short interest information for MULN. So for the off-exchange short volume ratio, it's at 34.45%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 69.33 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 0, updated 1 minute ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, we could see for the max of the day it was at 20.84%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 29th, it was at 32.73, and then for the close of the 30th being at 34.45. So one thing that is clear, Mullen does continue to have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for MULN. So we see on the inflows at 151, and then on the outflow it's 158. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large it was 53.93, on the medium it was 78.44, and then on the small it was 18.71. On the outflow side on the large, you can see it was 62.39, on the medium it is 77.47, and then on the small it was 18.55. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you could see it was all selling for the past 5 trading days, and for today we could see for March 31st it was negative 8.45 million. No surprises since we did have a run up due to the news that came out the day before. When we analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 741.46%. No surprises there. We know that Mullen is a volatile stock. It grabs the
the attention of a lot of traders. So that is why you need to have a game plan if you're jumping into this. So let's go into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Mullen Automotive, in regards to the price action, I really wanted to see it hold up $3. I was talking about that in the previous video. It did break through it. We did see some weakness in the market. So going into tomorrow, if this pullback continues, I want to see support at least hold at around 260. If we end up having a move to the upside, then I want to see us breaking out above the high of the day, which was at 345. So most preferably, let's see Mullen get that price action above 350. Because if we're able to get above 350, then there's a good chance we can make that move going to 4. So add that to your homework and as well as your due diligence. But do know this play is highly dependent on volume. If the volume starts slowing down like we've seen in the past, the stock will pull back. And that's where we want to see those support levels hold up. And just as a backup, I want to let you guys know, if it does break through 260, as long as it can hold around 233, it still continues to have some strength. It's only when it breaks through 233 and then comes down to $2, we know there's a gap that needs to be filled at $1.79. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. And with all of the attention that it gets on social media, we know that retail is continuing to buy up shares. And we can clearly see that there is demand in the market. We do see some profit taking that is happening with whales and institutions. And with retail, they're just trying to buy up some shares so they can take advantage of some more potential upside in this play as this year continues. The CEO did say that, you know what, we got some orders working with a Fortune 500 company. So it's going to be very interesting. And when that news does get announced, this stock could definitely make some serious moves to the upside. And as far as for the pullback that we had towards the end of the day, I am not concerned about it whatsoever. The market has been running up quite a bit. Plus on top of that, it was the end of the quarter. So that's why I said going into April, it's going to be interesting, especially since historically it's known for being a strong month for the stock market. So that's all I have for you guys today. Let's see how this stock performs going into tomorrow, and I'll continue to keep you inside of the loop. We'll talk soon.